In section 5.2, number 11 and 12, we just need to find the sum or difference of these these identities and verify they're both equal, given these will have the same difference, but they're done in different ways. So remember, with 8 and 10, we did it one way, but as I said before, you can do it different ways. So you just have to find that same value. So those should be equal, since pi over 6 minus pi over 4 is equal to pi over 4 minus pi over 12. So let's see if it is. So we're going to use the identity for, remember our cosine identity is cosine of alpha plus or minus beta is equal to, the sign changes, so it's going to be a minus and a plus, and cosines in front, and then sines in the back, alpha, beta, alpha, beta. So there's my formula that I'm going to use in both of these. So I'm going to do A in cosine, in blue, so I get cosine of pi over 6 times cosine of pi over 4. That minus becomes a plus, and I get sine of pi over 6 plus times sine of pi over 4. And then thinking about my unit circle, my 6 is right about there, so that's the long way. So that's the radical of 3 over 2 for cosine of pi over 6. And cosine of pi over 4 is radical 2 over 2. Sine of pi over 6 is 1/2. And sine of pi over 4 is radical 2 over 2, which gives me radical 6 over 4 plus radical 2 over 4, which gives me radical 6 plus radical 2 over 4. So let's see if that's going to be equal to if I do it a different way. So let's do purple for part B. So cosine of pi over 4 minus pi over 3 this time. So using that same formula, I get cosine of pi over 4 times cosine of pi over 3. The minus becomes a plus. So, and then I have sines. And then again, using my unit circle values, pi over 4 is radical 2 over 2. Cosine of pi over 3 is 1/2. Sine of pi over 4 is radical 2 over 2. Sine of pi over 3 is radical 3 over 2. All right, and then multiplying those, I get radical 2 over 4 plus radical 6 over 4, which gives me 2. Radical 2 plus radical 6 over 4. Addition is cumulative. I can switch the order, so these are equal. So verified. Check.